Hey guys, I'm Bianca Lager. I'm the former president and CEO of Social Intelligence, a company where I very lovingly led an extremely productive team as a C-suite of one for over 7 years. Now, I successfully sold that company in 2023, and now I get to focus on my favorite work as a keynote speaker and online course creator. As a LinkedIn learning instructor, I have already taught over 133,000 learners executive business skills. And through my very new program, it's called Executive Automations, I guide small business owners and operators through a step-by-step process to automate sales growth while maintaining operational efficiency. Now, these systems will free up your time, allowing you to focus on what truly matters, building a stronger team, getting them to increase their growth, and grow your business without costing you precious time away from your loved ones and all the good times that life outside of work offers you. So welcome to Inbox Zero. Here I provide you free advice, free business advice. That's right, free, on how to stop sacrificing all the time in the business weeds that you're spending and learn how to automate and elevate the decisions clogging up your mental inbox. So let's dive into this week's question of the week. Okay. Hi, Bianca. I've been running a successful online course business for the past 2 years, but I'm starting to feel burnout from constantly creating new content and managing student interactions. I'm considering bringing on additional instructors or partners, but I'm not sure how to structure this arrangement. Any advice on scaling a knowledge-based business while maintaining quality and personal touch? Okay, so I have to be honest, I've had this question for a while, but kind of kept it on the back burner because I didn't know if it'd be all that interesting to people that watch the show or, if it was just interesting to me. And ultimately I decided, yeah, it is interesting to me. So you guys can listen to what I have to say too and decide for yourself. I think this is also just like really universal. I think I was focused for a while on the fact that it was about online course business and like, that's what I do. Other people in my community do it too. So I think this is where the question came from. By the way, these submissions are anonymous. So if you want to submit a question, feel free to do so at biancalager.com. Okay. So, but in thinking about this really deeply, I realized that my time at Social Intelligence, which was not an online course business, I was kind of doing that on the side as I was running this company and having 2 children, not for nothing. But anyway, this is really universal. There comes a point in so many businesses, especially if you're an owner and operator and you're kind of, you have a really small executive team, or maybe it's just you. That's what my experience was. It was just me for a long time. And so, getting to a place where you're like, okay, like I'm very overwhelmed. How do I do this? It is especially true, and now that I'm in this industry really focused on it, because what you're selling is like your knowledge. So how are you supposed to scale that? It's a really good question. Of course, there's lots of things that you can consider. So let me focus first on the 2 things that's brought up in this question, which is I'm considering bringing on additional instructors or partners, but I'm not sure how to structure it. So let's think about additional instructors first. Let's kind of think through that. You bring on additional instructors, and I think the idea is that like there's a lot of demand for the knowledge, or you have a lot of ideas for courses and not a lot of time to create them. It really depends on the structure of your business, if this makes sense, because I think that it can get pretty difficult to have somebody else record content that you've created. So I think you have to really think through, like, if you want to have multiple instructors, maybe like on your platform or your website of where you're selling your courses. I think there's a couple things that you can consider doing that. One is a route where you can go by hiring somebody as a contractor. And I think you'd very much have to, especially because you're already burnt out, you really would have to structure it as like, make your own content and I'll put it on my website and we'll split profits or something like that. I think another way around, or another way to structure this might be to say, you record this content and I'll sort of like pay you a fee. I really don't love that one because I think you'll start to get really in the weeds of controlling how it's recorded and all this kind of stuff. And like, if you're already burnt out, like this is not going to help you. It's just not. You're basically doing the same thing. You'd just rather do it yourself. So there's that. Now, I think in thinking about partners, it's a really similar situation to where, are you looking for financial help? Is it the financial part of the business that if you had more funding, you could do more? Or is it somebody that will help you kind of run alongside you and help you grow the business and come into it as a partnership and kind of have an equal stake in the situation and help you grow the business and be as invested in it as you are? That is definitely an interesting route that I think you cannot just do out of the blue, right? If you already have somebody in mind, or if you've like dabbled with other instructors or collaborated with them, and you think, wow, this person would be a really good partner, maybe we should just partner up on this and kind of create like a bigger brand. That is almost like starting a new business. So I'm not saying it's the wrong idea, but there is something to be said for the difficulties of going as a solopreneur and then now transitioning to a partnership. It's a very different space, and you might find that not relieving, basically, because there's now this other person that you have to make decisions with, and you have two different views on different things. So I think the best way to structure that there is if you had some sort of partnership in specific projects. Like maybe you started a new course program that was targeted towards a specific target audience group, and you guys created that in partnership together, split the profits, whatever else. That way you're not like completely going into business together, but you're just saying, hey, financially we're partners, but you're not getting into the weeds and the paperwork, because that's expensive, of trying to create a partner here. I would say with both of those scenarios, another great way to dabble here is to start collaborating with other instructors, do webinars with them, see what they're interested in, see how well you work together. Again, if there's another small project, you can hire them out as a contractor. That's a good idea to get started as well. Now, frankly, like, I don't think either one of those things is going to be relieving, honestly. Adding somebody into the mix is in the short term going to cause a lot of work. It might alleviate some things later, but at the end of the day, it makes things complicated when you are, having to share other kinds of financials and teach somebody really, the way you want to run your business. Now, I see that as in the assumption that you're like most entrepreneurs where, this is your knowledge and this is your business. So it's going to be really hard to partner with somebody at a high level and let go a lot of the control that you have. And you do mention maintaining quality and personal touch. These are the things that sound important to you. It might be even based on a personal brand. So those are tough routes. Here's my real recommendation, which you didn't bring up in the question, but I think it's worth considering for you. Your burnout is not sustainable. So you need to really deal with that before you go into bringing in a different people into the stressful environment that you might already be in. I think that it's going to be important for you to understand how to create more efficiency in your business before you can scale up to outside people and have them join you. So, get an assistant, get a virtual assistant. Like it is the number one thing that I am recommending to so many people right now, mostly because I finally did it and I'm like, oh my God, I should have done this so long ago. When you said you feel burnout from constantly creating new content and managing student interactions. Those are the tasks that can be delegated. This is the kind of in the weeds stuff that I talk about quite a bit these days. And it is, creating new content. If you're doing this all yourself, if you're editing the videos, captions, clips, yada, 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 and if you're putting it on the website, creating email automations around it, have some sales funnels that you're maintaining, these are things that can be very easily taught to somebody else, and they can do them. Student interactions, even too, you can create like an info at email address and have them answer, kind of and teach them and train them a bit to, answer in the same tone, stay on brand and stuff. But you can definitely get those tasks to be done without your involvement whatsoever. I think you need to start there. I think you really need to free up your time and really figure out what tasks you can lose. I'll also give a secondary tip that, it's a little not worrying to me, but talking about maintaining quality and personal touch. I think that those things are really important, right? Like we want to put out high quality products for people. They won't buy them, whatever else. But there is a math equation there that you need to consider as far as the effort that goes in and the return that you get back. Now, you might love that you always answer a student question with something really personal that you talked about before, and that's nice. You might only need to do that once and then never have to do it again, or you might be able to automate that, capture that data in your CRM and insert it without having to think about it a whole lot and use a lot of mental energy. I'm really just making things like that up, but you're talking about maintaining quality and personal touch. I would ask you to consider those, and literally when I say consider it, write down the high quality and personal touch things that you do in your business and prioritize them, reprioritize them to say, what is the most important part of this? What is non-negotiable? And if they're all non-negotiable, I beg you to cross off one, at least one, and start. And don't take my advice for it. Ask your students, talk to them and say, hey, do a survey or ask them, directly, get on the phone and say, hey, does this even matter? If I didn't do this, would you still have, bought my course? Would you still rate me high as an instructor if, this just never happened? And I think you'll be surprised by that feedback and hopefully be encouraged by the efforts that we make that we think are important. And they might feel good, but they don't really get you a business return. So you got to find some barometer of the tasks that you can drop. And then from there, start thinking about delegation and what you can delegate. You might be able to do this in tangent or tandem, I should say, not tangent. Duh. You can hire this virtual assistant and say, hey, this is the way I do things. Tell me what you think about this process. So some feedback there in that process is really important. So anyway, good luck to you. I love the online course creation business. I've been doing it for a while now through both my LinkedIn Learning courses, like I talked about at the top, but also now directly with my own automation programs that I do. So I hope this was also helpful to people who aren't in that kind of business, because I think it's really universal advice of just burnout in general and how you're leading a company and what you can do. Also, I really just want to apologize for my chipped nail right here. I have 2 small boys, and not for nothing, it is an absolute miracle that I am here with mascara on, period, let alone that I ever got a manicure. So you're welcome. Thank you, and you're welcome, and I'm sorry. All the above. All right, have a good one, guys. Talk to you next week. Bye.